I am so excited for today's show. Epitomizing the essence of high-end dining, Tamasha Modern Indian is on a mission to reignite the allure of Indian cuisine with contemporary flair. This unique, stylish, and modern Indian restaurant offers patrons not just a meal, but a vibrant sensory journey into the realm of modern Indian cuisine. Complemented by a lively and spirited atmosphere, behind the innovative concept of Tamasha stands a duo of highly passionate and accomplished visionary entrepreneurs. Mike and Tina have a keen eye for flavor, culinary aesthetics, and have presented an incredible, unmatched modern dining experience right here in North Hills. And I am so excited to welcome you guys to the show. Thank you so much for coming on, Tina.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you, Mike.
Good to be here.
We are so excited. You know, we got invited, thank you so much to you, to a preview experience at Tamasha to kind of preview some food, some drinks, and it was such an amazing experience. I had been watching you guys online for about 60 or 90 days prior to the restaurant opening. So tell us a little bit about you before we go into the restaurant. So Tina, what's your background?
So I'm an IT professional and I own a salon and spa in Cary. And I also am an interior designer. I have my own handbag brand called Tina Vora. And now venturing into the latest thing, Tamasha Modern Indian. I'm a co-owner with Mike. Yeah. And of course, I had the pleasure of designing the space. And yeah.
I can't wait to talk about all of that. I'm fascinated by a married couple that can work together, number one. And it sounds like you not only work together, but you do it over and over again. You're serial entrepreneurs, right? So Mike, tell me a little bit about you.
So I came here in this country to do my master's, and then I went into staffing industry. Now I own an IT staffing company. We own a co-own a hair salon. We just started a new venture of a restaurant because that was our passion. And Tina, of course, being an amazing interior designer, she has designed multiple Indian restaurants in the area, in the Triangle. And this was our own baby. So she did an amazing job of designing the restaurant. And just want to thank Raleigh for being such an amazing response. We are just overwhelmed.
Well, let me ask you this while we're on that subject, and we're going to get to the interior, we're going to get to the passion behind the food, but why Raleigh and why North Hills?
So we were actually looking for a second location for hair salon. And of course, we have another salon in the area, so they didn't allow us to do a hair salon. And I always wanted to have a restaurant. Back in 2010, I inquired about a franchise, which is an Indian concept, $500,000, which we didn't have. And 11, we bought a restaurant in Boston. I wanted to bring more of a casual QSR, fast food, street food style concept in Boston, but it didn't work out. We moved here in 2013. Fast forward 10 years, she found a place in North Hills. And of course, North Hills, we cannot do anything less what we have right now in North Hills. So, and then we were like, you know what, why don't we just find a gap? And we thought, there is no elevated Indian experience in the area. And we just went ahead and, just created, she basically pitched, when we pitched to Mr. Kane and the team, she made amazing rendering. We did a lot of research on the food, what is missing in Raleigh food scene, in Indian food scene especially. We created a menu, went ahead and did a presentation to management team. They approved us, and then rest is history.
So Tina, how do you go from looking for a hair salon to opening this incredible modern Indian restaurant that is, if you haven't seen it, you'll probably be watching it on YouTube, but if you haven't seen the restaurant, it's stunningly beautiful. How do you go from hair salon to restaurant?
Great question. So he's always, back of his mind, he's always wanted to open a restaurant. And as he said, we were looking for a second location. And we already have one location in Cary, and we wanted to scale and branch out. And I'm like, North Hills is the place. So we reach out to Kane Realty, and they show us the space. And unfortunately, we cannot have another salon because there's a salon that is in existence already. So I'm like, Mike, this is a great location and we don't want to miss it. And you've always wanted to open a restaurant. And why don't we pitch the restaurant? So we come up with our design and renderings, our business plan. And we come up with a menu, and they were very excited to see
That is such an incredible story, though, of taking something that you were passionate about, you guys pulling it together as a couple and creating something literally from thin air, right?
Absolutely.
We hear people that do that all the time, but we don't necessarily dig into, like, why not just open a franchise? That would have been a lot easier. Why not take a script that somebody else wrote and put that into play? And what you've created is, when you walk through the door, you can tell that it is a passion project.
Absolutely.
It is something that you are so passionate about. So what about owning a restaurant like this? What drives you?
So again, as she said, I was looking at getting into a restaurant for many years, and as soon as we found out that there is no opportunity for do hair salon, and she's like, "Why don't you just do a restaurant?" I'm like, you know what? It makes sense because North Hills doesn't have Indian restaurant. If you look at it, we have Italian, we have Mexican, we have Asian, we have steakhouse, we have stir, oyster bar, if you will, but no Indian. So we thought that would be a perfect opportunity for us to bring something Raleigh has not seen. And that was, I was telling from day one, even to our management team at Kane, that we want to create something that Raleigh has not seen.
And well, they definitely haven't seen it. And I want to dig into that a little bit because your food is a little bit different. It is a modern twist. Tell me about the inspiration behind the food and what you guys are putting on the plates.
So, first of all, we wanted to have a different menu. If you go to a majority of Indian restaurant in the area or anywhere in the United States, you're gonna see very similar dishes. But with the chef, the caliber of chef we have comes from 2 Michelin star background, 2 Michelin star restaurant background back in San Francisco. We wanted to create something which again requires very different skill set. We use very different ingredients. We have almost 15 to 18 suppliers sending us different produce, protein,
Wow.
and other things. Like, for example, we have a mushroom paradise on our menu, which uses lion's mane mushroom, which uses oyster mushroom. We have a third mushroom on top. And then we have a mushroom sauce, and we are using a superfood, which is millet, which is regularly used in India, very comfort food, and we create a risotto out of it. And the whole dish sits on the bed of that millet risotto. So usually you're not gonna see this in any Indian restaurant. Also, our the oysters. We have oyster 65. We use collard green for one of our dishes. So the menu is very intelligently, thoughtfully created. The reason behind it because North Hills was ready for this, and I want them to have a different experience. And modern is just not mean using beautiful plateware and just garnishing it. It's all about creating a different sauces, which goes as per the dish. And
it's very unexpected.
Absolutely.
It's very unexpected to walk into an Indian restaurant and have oysters.
absolutely.
But it was amazing.
Thank you.
It was very unexpected to walk into an Indian restaurant and have those little chicken popper, and I'm probably
Fried
butchering
chicken,
The
yep.
fried
the fried chicken
Tamasha
with a
fried chicken.
jalapeno on top.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was divine. And I would say that the difference between what you are cultivating is very thoughtfully designed, and it's very intriguing to the senses. And so when I think about Tamasha and the whole experience, it is a sensory experience.
It is.
From the eyes to the smells to the sounds to the taste to the touch of everything in there. It stimulates all of them, which is what a great restaurant is supposed to do.
Thank you. And that's what we call feast to the senses.
Exactly. Well, I want to shift over a little bit. We're going to come back to food, but I want to talk about the design of the restaurant.
Okay.
Because I started following on Instagram, which I told you, and I was floored by the renderings that you did. I was floored when I walked in the door. So what was the inspiration behind the design of the interior?
So I've designed many different restaurants in the area, and the inspiration comes from the name itself, which is Tamasha. And Tamasha means a grand performance. And I wanted to bring a design which nobody has seen here in Raleigh. And Raleigh is like a melting pot. People come here from all over the world, and people are ready to have experiences that they see in big cities like New York or Vegas. And I'm like, why not Raleigh? So I come up with this design, drawing inspiration from the name, where it has some, spectacle, some drama, grand performance, which I'm bringing through the sculpture, like the ceiling sculpture that you see when you walk in with the metal arches. I'm playing with earthy tones and, gold accents, and like every piece is custom designed. And it makes me so happy when I see people admiring it, having a great time and enjoying.
Well, I can tell it makes you happy. If you're watching this, you can see the smile on her face. If you're not, if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, you can probably hear it in her voice. And it is a spectacular place. You can tell that every single piece of it is custom. And I didn't think I liked green until I walked in to Masha. The green is spectacular. The arches over the benches. It's a small, intimate restaurant.
Absolutely.
It's not massive. And that, I think, might be a testament to what you're creating. You're creating something that's very intimate.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
I go every day pretty much, try to just, see the reaction of the guest. Of course, I want to learn the business, don't have any background in restaurant industry. But each and every guest I talk to, the one thing in common is, or the three things in common is the interior. Yesterday we had a family, exactly they said, it's such an intimate space, the music was perfect, we put kids to the bed and we came here for our date night. There were 3 couples and everybody were like so amazed that we had a perfect date night, great time, the interior was amazing, food was great, music is perfect, and service was immaculate. And isn't it that is a perfect experience?
It is a perfect experience. And if you are going to go out and spend your hard-earned money, you have to have great food, great service, and to have an interior space that makes you feel like you are in a big city. It's like you're going to another city.
Absolutely.
It's not like being in Raleigh, which is really beautiful. I've had a few friends who have come in and they've said the same thing. They were like, that was probably one of the best experiences I've ever had in a restaurant. It was lively, it was fun, but it was also very intimate. So what's your favorite dish on the menu?
So we are vegetarian, and I have not tasted half of my menu, as you can say, right? But I love paneer tikka. That's our main source of protein, if you will. I love dal tamasha, which
Yeah,
is
me too.
truly cooked 24 hours. There is a technique, of course, how to cook it, and it is just, if you have it with a garlic naan, you are in heaven, literally.
Well, the
if you
garlic
will.
naan is my favorite dish on the menu. I think it's fantastic. What is your favorite dish?
I like paneer tikka as well. I like paneer pasanda. I like veg galati. I'm a vegetarian too. So as you said, we have limited choices, but we still have a lot of vegetarian options on the menu.
You do. So what's your best-selling non-vegetarian?
So our best selling right now is butter chicken. Our snapper is also very, very popular.
Yeah.
People just love it. And I don't want to forget those chaat, which is the kale and sweet potato chaat. That is our favorite too, because that is, once you come in and try that with the yogurt foam in the center, with the shisho leaf,
You're going to make them all spontaneously combust who are listening to this, because that, I will say, that charred kale and sweet potatoes is to die for. It's amazing. I want to shift over and talk about cocktails, but before we go, not only have you found an incredible chef, Bhavin, he is amazing with, as you said, 2 Michelin star restaurant experiences under his belt. He is a one of a kind, and the dishes that he's creating are phenomenal. But you have the same caliber of a bartender. I know you don't call him a bartender. You call him a craft cocktail. Mm-hmm. What is the title for what he is?
So he's basically our bar manager.
Okay.
So beverage director, if you will. And when we interviewed him, I had, of course, certain expectations. Me and Bhavin interviewed him, and he said he can do this, this, this. And we said, fine. The first thing he does is goes and researches on India. What is India all about? What is the habits we have in terms of what kind of spirits we take, how do we live our life. So the first drink he comes up with named Khushi. That means joy and happiness, which has, if not more, at least 6 or more spices. Creates beautiful yellow hue drink. And we, garnish with rosemary. We burn the rosemary when we go on the table. So again, as you said, plays with your senses, and it's one of our top-selling drink. He comes with the name bagged milk. So we do get milk in India, at least in my house, still do, in the bag. Like we get it in liter because of European metric system. So you get a bagged milk, and he's like, Mike, do you guys get a milk in the bag? I said, yeah. I said, okay, perfect. Can we name our espresso martini, which is to die for, as a bagged milk drink? And he went and and again made one of the drink is a stoic, which is a thinker. So he did an amazing job on not just creating a cocktail, but the names behind it. And we have some counterfeits, we call it, which is a non-alcoholic drinks or mocktails.
I love the counterfeit name.
It so fits well, isn't it?
Yes. I love that. And I will tell you, if you go in, you've got to sit at the bar.
Absolutely.
And you got to watch them make these cocktails.
Absolutely.
It is an experience in itself. And I will tell you, the joy and happiness really brings joy and happiness.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
So now that we've talked about food and beverage, I want to talk a little bit about the regions of India, because I know that everyone is pulling in these different regions into your menus. Can you share a little bit about that with me?
So India has over 25 states. And how India is basically, I'm from the state of Maharashtra. And if you drive 50 to 100 miles, the same dish changes. People can cook it in a different way. The dialect changes, the slang changes.
There's lots of diversity.
She's from Gujarat, right? So if you travel through Gujarat and we speak our mother tongue is Gujarati, the same language can be spoken 30 or 50 different ways.
Wow.
The slang changes, the pronunciation changes. So India has thousands of years of history, of course, a lot of food, and of course we had, the Mughals came in, a lot of food changed. We got something from them. Then we had, the Britishers came in. We learned from them. Tea was never in India. Tea was never drink in India. It was the Britishers who gave us the tea. And guess what? We are the largest consumer and producer of tea in the world. So, but what Bhavin did was a great job of, and he has trained in all over India, a northern part. He's from the western part of India as well, and he has trained in southern part of India. So we brought dishes from all over India, because that is the true representation of Indian food. Not just the northern part of India, not just the southern part of India. We wanted to bring and dishes from all over and all. So, and this is Bhavin's word. What we have right now, it's a love letter to India.
I love that.
So
I love that. And he's pulled a little bit of the South into it too.
Yes.
It's amazing. So what can people expect when they come into the restaurant for the first time?
In terms of experience?
Yeah.
So this is what we hear when they walk in. They're just wowed. They're mesmerized, and their expectations are higher. When they look at the ambience, the decor, of course, they read reviews, they're referred by their friends who've already dined with us. Their expectations are high. They're expecting a grand performance in terms of food, drinks, hospitality. And we are so proud of ourselves, our staff, our team, that we're able to deliver that. So that's what they come expecting, and for the most part, they leave happy.
You're delivering excellence every single time. How do you get your team to all work together to do that?
So let me tell you about my team, right? I mean, kitchen staff is of course comes from a five-star hotel background. They are true Taj product. So Taj Hotel Group is basically a Ritz-Carlton of United States. So for them, it was not a huge challenge. Of course, they had to learn the modern techniques, the flavors, and the recipe. Front of the house comes in, and nobody has worked in Indian restaurant before. Now, they had to work very hard to learn the pronunciation of the dishes, ingredients, allergens in the dishes, because we use a lot of nuts in our dishes. So, we want to make sure that every guest come in, first question we ask is, are you allergic to anything at all on the table? And we had to pair our wines and cocktails and beers. So they went to work. 3 weeks of rigorous training. They learned the dishes, they paired the dishes, they tasted, of course, dishes and the wine together, and they were quizzing each other, saying, okay, how do you pronounce this? What exact kind of chili goes into this dish? Or what are the ingredients in the dishes? And they came up so strong. And on our everyday stand-up meeting we have before the service starts, I only tell them one thing. First of all, we are blessed to have this team, but let's work hard as we are a Michelin star restaurant, even before we have it. I don't know if we have a Michelin star or Michelin guide in North Carolina or not, and I'm not looking for one. If, that's not the goal.
You're creating it.
My goal is to have a best guest experience.
Yeah.
In India, we call it Atithi Devo Bhava. That means God, guest is God. So if somebody coming to our doorstep, they should have a best experience. What accolades we're gonna get, how much money we're gonna make, I'm not worried about that. And in a true sense, because if I do the right thing, if I give all the guests the best experience there is in Indian food scene, rest everything will follow.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. And that is something I've always said. I've never worked for the money. I've worked for the passion. And I know that the money's going to follow that. And you are a testament to that. And what I decipher from what you just said is that when you create an aesthetic that is functional and beautiful, that the people that you put into that from a team, they rise to the occasion.
Absolutely.
Yes.
They create excellence among themselves.
Absolutely.
Because they want to be a part of it. Because you know what aesthetics and function bring to equal is peace.
Absolutely.
When you have a beautiful space that functions at a high level, you have peace.
Yeah.
And then you have this grand performance around it. So this has been such an enlightening conversation. Please tell our viewers and our listeners where they can find you and how they can reserve a table.
So they can find us on Open Table for reservations. And of course, we are located in North Hills, 4200 Six Forks Road, suite number 130 in North Raleigh.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then what about online? What's your website?
It's www.tamashanc.com, and there will be a link for Open Table as well. And we can't wait to have you and come and dining with us. And it would be a great experience. That's
Well, and I'll tell you, if you're thinking about dining with them, they are packed. They have had such a welcome response from Raleigh. And I hope that you guys know, obviously, you created something that was much needed. And you definitely
Absolutely.
filled a gap because you're packed every time I call over there. Even I haven't been willing to call a favor in to get in because they've been so packed. But I'm so happy for you. Thank you so much for believing in Raleigh, for coming to North Hills and bringing something that is such a passion to you. We're so excited to have you. And for those of you out there listening, get on Open Table, make a reservation. And we want to thank you so much for joining us in the Best of Raleigh. Obviously, we all think that Raleigh is an incredibly special place to live. And this show is all about sharing the people, the places, and the businesses that you need to know about that are going to help make your experience in Raleigh a phenomenal one. And if you're thinking about making a move, whether it's in the Triangle or to the Triangle, we would love to be your go-to resources for real estate, for vendors, for everything that you need to help create that that home aesthetic that is functional and gives you peace. So we drop a new episode every Friday on Apple, Spotify, and on YouTube. So if you like what you hear, click the follow button and you will always remain in the best of know here for Raleigh. You'll know all the happenings before they happen. We'll see you in the next episode of Best of Raleigh. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it. And thank you, Raleigh, for overwhelming response. We love it. Thank you.
Bye.